Okay.
Hi, Rosanne.
Hi, Sean. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited because today my guest is somebody that I've wanted to talk to on the internet for how long have I known you, Sean? About 100 years or longer. And I'm
Yeah,
so happy that we finally hooked up, that I can have you on as a guest. Sean is the most brilliant man I've ever talked to as far as putting things together, piecing things together, history, politics. And he is a person after my own heart because we agree on so much. And a lot of you know him. And I think he's extra dimensional. And I'm happy to have you, Sean. Sean Hross, Dr. Sean Hross.
yeah. Fine, we finally made it, Rosanne.
And here we are
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So it all started with Pharaoh, and Pharaoh became Europe's aristocracy, building the castles and all the Steinsees and all that, and who split up with the Knights Templars. And I'm going to tell you that story now. Who are the Knights Templars? And out of the Knights Templars came the Freemasons, and they rule the entire world now. All presidents, all politicians. So who are the Knights Templars? Because this is very important to understand this in order to explain the Shoah and the Second World War and everything, and even the First World War. Well, in the aristocracy, there is a very important law, which is called the primogeniture, which means that only the firstborn son, he gets everything. He gets the land, he gets the power, he gets the castle, he gets the jus primae noctis, raping the women and all that. So, but of course, there were also second, third, and fourth sons, and sometimes up to 300, because of the jus primae noctis, raping the women. And so these second, third, and fourth sons, they were very angry because they didn't get anything at all. So this is why there were always many conspiracies in the castles, like backstabbings and poisonings with aconite, aconitum, which is a flower, which is very poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
And so the firstborn son, the lord of the castle, he kicked them all out of the castle. But where do you go in the Middle Ages? Because in the Middle Ages, there were only three things: the people, the castle, and the church. So the castle fell. They couldn't stay there. An aristocrat is a parasite. He would never work a day in his life. So they wouldn't seek refuge amongst the people, because there you had to be up to your neck into the pig shit every day and work very hard. So the only thing left for a lord and a aristocrat were the monasteries, where at least he could sleep until noon, drink some wine, and talk with his friends and other aristocrats. And at a certain moment, there were so many of the second, third, fourth sons of the aristocracy in those monasteries that they said, we are in a monastery, which is a temple of God. So we are the Templars. And we're going to make a new system that every one of us in the aristocracy, and not only the firstborn son, but every one of us, can be the king for a period of 4, 5, or 7 years. And we're going to vote. But then they said, but we cannot vote because we all know what's going on. And then a sly guy around the round table, he said, oh, I've got a good idea. Why don't we let the people vote? Because they're so stupid. They're never going to understand what's going on. And at the same time, we let the people know, we let the people think that they're ruling themselves. Then they're happy, those stupid people. And this new system, they called it the New World Order. And the New World Order is a horizontal rule. Whereas when there is a new world order, logically, there must also be an old one. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a new world order. So it would be very interesting to know what is the old world order then, to understand what the new one is. Well, the old world order is a vertical rule. So a
Right.
feudal system with the king or the lord of the castle deciding to the last person in the empire without any intermediary. So the horizontal rule is called the republic, the republican system, and the old system is the royalist system. So there are still two groups of the elite, the royalists and the republicans. And actually in America you got republicans and democrats, and actually the republic is where they do it, and the democracy is what they do, which is actually the same thing. So the New World Order, which was made by the Knights Templars already in 1291, which is the founding date of Switzerland, and this is why the Swiss, they always say, we are the oldest democracy in the world. They are the oldest New World Order in the world, Switzerland is. And the democracy, of course, is not for the people. The people never had any democracy, and they will never have any democracy. The democracy consists only in the fact that an aristocratic lord, he can have himself elected democratically back then and still today. So, and this is why the Swiss cross is a vertical rule, a vertical line interrupted by a horizontal line in the Knights Templars colors, red and white. And it's the only flag in the world which is a square. It's not long like the American flag or any other flag. It's a perfect square. And the square, of course, is a base of a pyramid. And the Freemasons, they call a square the concept of four, because a square and the base of a pyramid has four angles and four sides. So if you see the concept of four somewhere in a logo of an enterprise or something, an initiate, he sees the square, as in the square and compass. And the compass in the Freemason logo, square and compass, it stands at 60 degrees. And with 60 degrees, you can make a triangle which has three sides and three corners of 60, 60, and 60 degrees. And this is why they call the number three, they call it this concept of three. And this triangle is, of course, it's also the side of a pyramid. That's why the square and compass is so important for them, because these are the tools with which you can draw a pyramid. And if you see the concept of 3 and 4 in a logo, it means square and compass. And 3 and 4 together, it makes 7. That's why in the middle of it, they put the letter G, because the letter G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. Or in America, almost every president was a member of the Skull and Bones of the Yale University, the Skull and Bones Lodge. And Skull and Bones has in between the square and compass, it has the number 322. So 2 plus 2 is 4, the concept of 4, and 3 is 3. And altogether it's 7. It's the same thing. 322, it means the same thing as the letter G in between the square and compass. And Skull and Bones, of course, is the same thing as the Nazis had.
Why? But why? Because the pyramid is holy, or what? Why is everything always the pyramid?
The number 7 is the holy number for the pyramid for them, yes, for the Freemasons and the pharaohs.
But what is the pyramid about?
I find in a lot of, because I studied Demotic language at university, and Demotic is the written pharaonic language, whereas the hieroglyphs are only for the temples. So the demons and the gods, their gods, can see a picture. Apparently they can't read. I don't know how that works. So they had a written language, which during the Egyptian campaign of Napoleon, there was a French guy with him, an academic. His name was Jean-Paul Champollion. And Jean-Paul Champollion, they found how do you call it? This thing of the stone of Rosetta. And the stone of Rosetta had 3 languages carved into it: the hieroglyphics, Greek, and Demotic language. So this is how for about 95% they could translate the Demotic language. And what was your question again? I forgot it.
What's up with the pyramid? Why is that the base of everything? Why is that like such a potent symbol?
Oh yes, oh yeah, now I remember. So I studied the Demotic language, which the French, they translated this, and I find in a lot of words, I find words with the pyramid in Demotic related to the fact that the soul comes into the pyramid. Like the Knights Templars, they had this thing called the Baphomet, which has to
Yeah.
be pronounced Baphomet, because the Knights Templars, they spoke French and not English. So the T at the end of Baphomet, it's not being pronounced in French, so you say Baphomet. And Ba, in the Pharaonic Demotic language, is the everlasting soul, the Ba, and the Ka is the soul when you're alive. And Fa, in Ba, Fa, Me, it means to arrive. And Me, Mer or Meru, it's the word for the pyramid. So the word Baphomet, it means the soul arrives in the pyramid. So apparently this is why, and I find it in many, many, many words I translated out of the Pharaonic language into English, which I explain in my videos. It's all related to the soul arriving into the pyramid. So this is the answer to your question, that this
Why
is why
is
the
that?
pyramid.
Because is that why it's a tomb, the pyramid? Because your soul goes to rest there, or you don't know?
Apparently, as they are sun worshippers,
Uh-huh.
maybe I don't know. I'm just a historian. I don't know anything about aliens or something. But the words are leading me to the fact that they are not from here. And it's
Yeah.
as they were sun worshippers, and they still are, Amun Ra and all this. I find a lot
Yeah.
of words indicating that they come out of the sun or from the solar system somewhere, another part, and they come here on Earth into the pyramid, being like teleported, or I don't know why, how, and I can't tell you because here my knowledge stops. I can only
Yeah.
find it like etymologically. I can find it back in the Pharaonic language that there is a connection with the soul arriving into the pyramid, and it's coming from a place not from Earth.
Well, a lot of I always wonder about that because maybe they're not human. A lot of people are talking about that now. Maybe the people in control, I don't know if they're robots or clones or what, but maybe they're not human because they do things that humans would never do, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. And I lived in Switzerland for 20 years. I mean, I've never seen a people so cold and so heartless as the Swiss. And they really are the base of Pharaoh, just as Pharaoh and the aristocracy. I mean, they are cold. The way they talk, you know.
Whatever would I do now? Ooh, exciting to think about.